If you love liberty, declare your independence by signing the Shire Society Declaration at shiresociety.com.
We're going to open the public hearing on House Bill 94 and recognize the prime sponsor, Representative Machado. Good morning, Representative.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning.
Committee. I am Representative Linda Miller, and I represent the towns of Littleton and Bethlehem. I became interested in the human trafficking issue after attending a conference of the National Foundation of Women Legislators that dealt with trafficking. Until the conference, I thought that trafficking was a problem in large states, the way the opioid issue was viewed several years ago in New Hampshire. I soon learned that trafficking was happening right here in New Hampshire, even in my idyllic hometown of Littleton. The sex trafficking industry is driven by demand. The buyers are as much a part of the crime as the trafficker. They range in age from 17 to 70 years of age, are predominantly white, married males, with a large percentage of these buyers having six-figure incomes and are willing to pay more for a minor. Tolerance has become a serious problem with this issue, as 26% of buyers convicted of purchasing sex with a minor serve no jail time. Buyers are unlikely deterred if state laws are not strong. HB 1628, enacted last year and implemented this January, criminalized buying sex with a child under the human trafficking law and helped to address an important gap in New Hampshire's law. It ensured that the prostitution law distinguished between buying sex with a child and buying sex with an adult by providing a heightened penalty when the person who was solicited was a child. Increasing penalties to align with those provided for traffickers acknowledge the equal role buyers play in creating a market for the buying and selling of sex. By strengthening New Hampshire's anti-demand laws, HB 94 prohibits a buyer's sex with a child from asserting a mistake of age defense, helping to ensure that penalties intended to protect children are not easily avoided. By eliminating the mistake of age defense in New Hampshire, it recognizes the harm that is caused to the child victims and is not mitigated by the fact that the buyer did not know the child's age. It also equips prosecutors with the tools necessary to bring successful prosecutions. This amendment tracks with the majority of states, 28 to be exact, that prohibit buyers of sex with children from raising the mistake of age defense. Children cannot consent to sex. Without the elimination of the mistake of age defense, a child who has been victimized by the trafficker and by the buyer then becomes victimized by the legal system. Please support this bill with the not to pass recommendation, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for your testimony this morning, Representative. Are there any questions from anybody? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The chair will call Mr. Fitzgerald.
My name is Paul Fitzgerald from the Grafton County Attorney's Office. I'm here to pardon County Attorney Lara Sapple, who couldn't make it today. And Lara Sapple does indicate to the committee that she's in support of House Bill 94. She has prepared some submissions as well that I'd like to submit. I was drafted in late yesterday afternoon to appear here today, so I'm not in a position to take questions. However, I'm instructed that if you do have some questions, I'd be glad to take them and do some research and respond within 24 hours if that's acceptable to the committee.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Fitzgerald. Are there any questions? So anyway, just be aware that if you have some questions, please submit them to Mr. Fitzgerald or Ms. Sappho, and they will get back to us.
Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you very much. The chair will call Mr. Reyes.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Good
morning. My name is Mika Reyes. I'm the prosecutor from Littleton and Sugar Hill. I'm here in support of House Bill 94. This bill does two important things. First, it clarifies that paying for sex with trafficked children, that those paying for sex with trafficked children can't claim that they didn't know the child's age or claim that the child consented. Now, this is already the law in our state. You'll see that in the county attorney's written testimony that's been submitted this morning. However, by clarifying this in the law, it will allow us to read off the law to the jury, make it very clear to the jury in these cases that this is the law. One of the things you learn as a prosecutor is gray areas of the law are not appreciated by the judge and by especially appellate judges. So we very much want to see this change enacted because it makes it very clear this is in fact the law. Now, as a prosecutor, I hear every excuse under the sun for why what the defendant did wasn't as bad as it is written out. This happens especially in cases where children are involved. As you imagine, where children are involved, especially child pornography cases and the like, not knowing the age of the child is something that comes up pretty frequently, even in cases where there are text messages and Facebook messages and other such messages that's clear that the defendant is soliciting naked and sexually explicit images from children. And I want to be very clear here that this bill is dealing with those kinds of incidents. We're not talking about, and I know the opposition has brought up some idea that men are going out, driving along the side of the road and picking up prostitutes, and lo and behold, they are 17 years old. That's not the case. We're talking about cases, and the grand majority of cases are these, that these predominantly men are going online to places like Backpage, places in the dark web. They're expressly looking for children, for people under the age of 18, often much younger than 18, and they're looking to engage in sexual encounters with them. That's what we're targeting. That's what we're looking for here. The second item that this bill addresses is it corrects a strange disconnect between our human trafficking law and our prostitution law. Now, as prosecutors, we never refer to anyone under the age of 18 as a prostitute. But the way the law is written, there could be some gray area, some arguable area. Currently, under the trafficking law, it's a Class B felony, and under the prostitution law, a misdemeanor for the same activity. To pay, agree to pay, or offer to pay to engage in sexual contact with a person under 18. Now, I've been keeping track of what this committee and what the legislature has been doing in the past few years, and so I'm aware the trafficking law is much more recent than the updates to the prostitution law. It seems to me that no one happened to look at it and update that as well and make it very clear about that distinction. And I think the county attorney's written testimony makes it clear what we're talking about here and the distinction, and that we are all in support of making sure that everyone understands that this is in fact a Class B felony. I do have written testimony to submit to the end, but if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions on the committee? Okay. Seeing none, thank you very much. Oh, Senator French?
Just
Okay,
one.
Senator French has a question.
So in other legislation, it deals with non-payment for these same crimes?
Yes.
And this is just for the prostitution part where they're bringing in line?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a whole list of things which are already felonies.
Yeah.
There's just one little section which for reasons that I don't fully understand. It was just the payment.
Yeah.
But if you solicit the sex, that's already a felony.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other members of the public that would like to speak to the
I'm signed up. I was signed up over there.
where'd you go? Okay, yeah, because I don't have, you did not sign up on this sheet.
I'm Ian Freeman.
Could you hold on, please, Mr. Freeman? Could you just hold on? Because they're going to get the sheet, and so. There isn't one? Okay, so, here.
Might be possible.
So Ian Freeman, co-chairman of the New Hampshire Liberty Party. I gotta say this bill is confusing to me. It's under the section of trafficking in persons, which I think we're all against sex slavery. That's a terrible crime. But the way it's worded is that the consent of the person should not constitute defense. Are we talking about someone who is able to consent, or are we talking about someone who is a sex slave? Because if somebody's a sex slave, that's already a crime and it should be punished pretty severely. If we're talking about somebody who's, let's say, 17 years old and has made their own choice to engage in some sort of sex act for money, and that is being, that's being made a more serious crime, I think that's a problem, because we certainly know that there are people, young people, under the age of 21, who have an incentive to lie about their age. Teenage girls under the age of 18 might have an incentive to lie about their age, especially if they are looking to make some money from some sort of sexual activity. Now, prostitution is illegal in the state of New Hampshire, but it shouldn't be. People should be able to make decisions about their own body. That's not what this bill deals with. I guess my concern here is that if you have a John in sort of a classic prostitution situation who has been defrauded by the girl that he is sleeping with, then that's not a defense in a criminal case. So again, is this about trafficking, or is this just a general, honestly I'm confused, is it just a general statement about someone who's being punished for buying a prostitute, or is it someone who's being punished for buying a prostitute who is a sex slave? So I don't know if you guys can clear that up, but that's my concern with this bill. It's not very clear, and in addition to that, people over the age of 16 in New Hampshire, that's the legal age of consent in this state. But yet this bill only deals with people who are under the age of 18. So again, if we're talking about people who are slaves, then yeah, that's a huge problem at any age. But if we're talking about people who are making their own decisions for themselves, and I think we all agree that young people can make some decisions for themselves, and the law says that they can make those decisions over the age of 16, then a person who's been lied to, that person's a victim to some extent of the girl who is telling a lie. So again, if the girl's the one who's lying, or as opposed to the person who's the sex trafficker, then that's a victimization of the John in that case, because now they're being brought into a felony situation without their knowledge. So that's all I have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Freeman. Are there any questions? Senator Gannon.
I think the idea of the bill is, you keep saying 16-year-olds can consent. They can to other 16-year-olds. I do not believe legally they can to 18 or over.
You are incorrect about that.
Okay, I'll look more. Okay, thank you.
Are there any further questions? Seeing none, thank you very much, Mr. Freeman. Okay, we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing on House Bill 94.
We'd like to invite you to visit freekeen.com. Freekeen.com features audio, video, and blogs chronicling the transition to a voluntary society. Freekeen.com also has comments and discussion forums so you can be heard. Freekeen.com.
I should be in Keene, New Hampshire with the Free Staters.